What's going on, everyone? The Kevin Durant trade seems to be boom or bust when it comes to the Boston Celtics. I really think the Celtics are the only team that can put a package together worthy of acquiring Kevin Durant and put the Nets in a position to still be in, playoff contention, be a team that is good. Because remember, the Nets cannot tank. Houston has all of their picks and they're all unprotected. So whatever trade the Nets get back for Kevin Durant, they need players like a Jaylen Brown, a Marcus Smart. And I think that Boston can put a package together of those two, maybe some picks, or if they can keep Marcus Smart, that's the goal. They would love to keep Marcus Smart. But I think Marcus Smart isn't going to be the deciding factor in any way. But if Kevin Durant goes to the Boston Celtics, then that means it's him and Jayson Tatum to kind of carry on this Celtics team, keep them in contention. They were obviously just in the NBA Finals, so they hope to get back there and this time win one. Kevin Durant is an upgrade over Jaylen Brown, so that would be a huge positive, a guy that can more easily get you the buckets. Jaylen Brown was able to score a lot of points, but he's not as fluid of a scorer as Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is also a guy that has hit big shots, can take over games, can do a lot of the things that Jaylen Brown was doing for the Celtics this past season, but just do it on a better efficiency. And that's the key. Well, the rumor mill is going crazy right now because Kevin Durant and Jayson Tatum are working out together. They're putting up work. They're working on their game together. They're both had a run for just conditioning, training, shooting, stuff like that. And of course, because of that, and in the midst of the Boston Celtics Brooklyn Nets trade centered around Kevin Durant, this has people just going crazy. Like, oh, here it is. Here's the proof. Kevin Durant, he's working out with his future teammate. They're putting in that work, putting in those hours, trying to build that chemistry, that camaraderie. Makes perfect sense. But here's the thing. I don't really buy this. I really don't. And look, I'm somebody that thinks Kevin Durant is going to get traded. I'm somebody that thinks it's a matter of when, not if. And I do think Boston seems to be that team. I'm also somebody that thinks Kyrie Irving is a guy that is likely going to get traded, and it's going to be to the Lakers because that's the only team that wants him. But just like when Kyrie and Phil Handy were working together and Kyrie was helping with his event, I didn't put anything into it because, look, they have a relationship. They dated back to the Cleveland days. Same thing with Jayson Tatum and Kevin Durant. They've worked out before. They know each other. They're part of Team USA basketball. We're in a different NBA than we've ever been. This NBA, everybody is friends. Everyone grew up together in each other's camps or help each other, or the AAU circuits, or, the Pro-Ams or the Olympics. There's so many connections nowadays for NBA players. It's not like how it was in like the 80s or early 90s where none of the players like each other. They all hate each other. They're all trying to go for each other night in and night out. Like, there's still competition and stuff, but it's just a different level. Like, on the court, they might try to kill each other, but off the court, they're best friends. They're hanging out. They're working out together. Jayson Tatum getting burned in with Kevin Durant, I don't think is a positive either way. Is the timing a little suspicious? Yeah, sure, I can understand that argument. I do think the fact that the two of them are working out amidst all of this, rumors and talks and stuff, and people are trying to say, well, Jayson Tatum's betraying Jaylen Brown because of that. It's like, come on. Like, you don't even know if these two scheduled this together. Like, they could have both shown up. They have similar trainers, stuff like that. Like, they just showed up and they're both there. It happens. A lot of these guys are training in the same areas, same places, going to the same academies, the same gyms, all of that stuff. And it happens all the time. These guys will just show up separately and it's like, oh, hey, man, like, you're working out here? Like, yeah, hey, me too. I'm going to run in. Like, let's work out together. Let's run in together. Maybe they did call each other up and said, hey, I'm going to be at this academy. I'm going to be at this gym. What, are you going to be there? Like, yeah, I'll roll through. I'm in the area, that kind of thing. These guys communicate. They talk. I don't think it's a spite to Jaylen Brown or anything like that. I don't think that this is evidence that Tatum and KD are scheming behind the scenes and they're excited. Could it be? Of course. There's always that possibility. I'm not saying it's absolutely nothing. It very well could be, but I think people are looking into this particularly too much, just like the Kyrie and Phil Handy thing. People were like, oh, Kyrie's in LA, Phil Handy, he missed the Drew League with LeBron to go help Phil Handy. Like, this makes sense. Like, Phil Handy's on the Lakers. I just think that, no, Phil Handy has always spoke extremely highly of Kyrie. Kyrie has spoken extremely highly of Phil Handy. He's even talked about how he's like a father figure in many ways, and it's somebody he's always looked up to. They have a relationship dating back to when he was on the Cavs. Like, there's history, there's chemistry there. There's, that friendship. Same thing with Kevin Durant and Jayson Tatum. They've worked out before in the past. They have that chemistry. They have that friendship. They've shared Team USA together and trained. They are very similar in many ways as far as like the scoring prowess goes. Like, I think that that's all this is. It's like, hey, let's go and work out together. Let's train. Let's help each other elevate. Not just that, but these two would want to do that. Like, when you're at the caliber of a Kevin Durant, you want to play against and you want to work out against the guys that are, in your ballpark. They might not be as good as you. They might not be, ever be able to reach the heights that you've done. You might be the better player, but you want somebody comparable, whether it's size, skill set, things like that, scoring. And if you're a guy like Jayson Tatum, you're looking to improve. You're young. You're trying to grow your game. Who better to train with than a Kevin Durant? Again, you also want somebody to train with that is on your level, that is, equal, if not greater, because that's how you get better. If these guys are training with some, park guys or playing, training with some, 15th man guys, like, I'm not saying they're not getting a workout. I'm not saying they're not getting a burn, and they do that, but you need time to work out and see, like, okay, Tatum's got that in his bag. How can I utilize that? I mean, even Kobe. Kobe was working out with the game and, working out with all these old players and current players. He was a guy that was working with Jordan, working with, Jason Kidd, guys like that, where they were competing with each other, Dirk Nowitzki, all of it, because that's how you get better. You see what they're capable of doing. You see what talents they have and what skill sets they can use and stuff like that, and you try to implement that in your game. Man, that was a great play. Like, that was great. Like, that footwork, the way you were able to turn and like, how did you do that? Like, can you walk me through that? Can you show me that? It's how you elevate your game. It's how you improve. Stars train with stars because you need to train with star players because you need to get better. You want to improve. And you just dominating, some guy on the court doesn't help you improve. You just swatting every time somebody shoots the ball doesn't help you improve. You need to get a feel. You need to be able to guard somebody that is actually giving you a challenge and is making you have to figure that out. It's also game scheming for, like, when these two face each other, if they face each other and they're not on the same team. Now, of course, ideally, the Celtics would love to have Jayson Tatum and Kevin Durant. These two would be an absolute nightmare to guard. Good luck trying to stop both of them. Jayson Tatum, although I do feel disappears many times, I think that he's a guy that hopefully can improve. He did improve tremendously this year, and when he's not having a good scoring game, he can actually impact the game in other ways, whether it's his defense, rebounding. We saw him have like an 11 assist game. Stuff like that is really going to improve. And working with a guy like Kevin Durant is going to help that. Now, if he could play alongside a guy like Kevin Durant, that would really help that. That would be huge for the Celtics, for Jayson Tatum, and just really, help elevate his game and maybe get him out of those funks at times where he feels like, I'm not that guy. My big concern with these two is, especially if they lose Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, is like, who is the vocal leader in that locker room? Like, look, Ime Udoka, he's a player's coach. He's a very vocal guy. He's a no-nonsense guy. He's got the voice in the locker room, but it's not the same thing as a player. A coach is limited to what he can say, what he can do to his players without losing that respect, without seeming too harsh, without impacting the locker room in a negative way. But you get a guy like Marcus Smart who could get in Tatum's chest, could get into KD's chest and say, you know what, like, you're dropping the ball. You're not doing this. Get your you-know-what together. Figure it out. Like, we count on you. You're supposed to be the superstar. The guy that can get in your face and tell you that you're messing up. That is a huge impact. Jaylen Brown was that guy. Marcus Smart was that guy. If you're losing both of those guys, you're losing your vocal leaders. Because Jayson Tatum and Kevin Durant both aren't vocal leaders. They're both the guys that'll sit there and just play basketball and just stay out of the drama. Let the team kind of flounder a little bit and hope that, like, they can get them through their gameplay out of that slump, whatever. Which can work to some degree. But sometimes you need that guy that can give you the big F you and, just start going off on the locker room and kind of build that, like, you're right. Yeah. That's right. A coach is limited in that. But these two, whether they end up together or not, the fact that they're working out together, I don't really put too much into. Like I said, could there be something there? Possibly. Could it be something if tomorrow or, a couple days from now, Kevin Durant gets traded to the Celtics? Maybe we could look back and go, okay, well, see, look, that was something. But even then, I don't know. I mean, do they know something we don't know? Possibly. They would be the first to know. There's some things that I do buy into, and there's some things that I think are just silly. Like, I've even talked about like the Kyrie and the tweets and stuff. And people are like, oh, he tweeted a yellow moon. This means that he's going to the Lakers. Like, no, it was a full moon that day. He's into that stuff. So, of course, it's what it is. Not everything is a sign or a clue that, players are going elsewhere, players are being traded, this, that, and the other. Sometimes guys just want to work out together. Sometimes guys just want to train together. They're both superstars. They're both very talented. They're both, top guys in this league. It makes sense that they're going to train together. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you think, there's nothing here? It's two guys just training together. Look, if Kevin Durant ends up a Celtic, he ends up a Celtic. But this isn't the moment that is like, oh, we got you moment. This isn't a moment of like, oh, here it is. Here's the proof. I just think that this is just them working out. Do you feel that way, or do you look at it the other way where it's like, no, there's got to be something there. Why would they work out together during this time? Like I said, timing is very interesting. I will give you that. Timing is a little suspicious, but again, we won't know for sure. But are you somebody that thinks like, yeah, look, they're right in the midst of all of this trade talk, and all of a sudden they're training together, they're working out together, this, that, and the other. Although this could be something they've had scheduled for months. Maybe they knew like, hey, on this date, we're going to end up being in the same area. Let's go train long before the trade talks, long before anything else. That's also a possibility as well. But, however you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.